the American dream still alive? The numbers say the U.S. economy is certainly recovering, but too many Americans are still left wondering when the financial crisis will truly be over for them. Yet hope was at the center of a CNN Money search that sent photographer John Loomis to 6 states in 7 days to capture images of people who said they or their children have a better shot of achieving the American dream than their parents did. He joins me now with a fascinating look at what he found. It is today's American Opportunity. It is a beautiful photo series. Congratulations and thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be on, and thank you very much for having me. It was really a pleasure to spend this time with these people who have this incredible belief, despite what we might think.
So let's talk about those people. I mean, you captured these really striking, sort of haunting images of people across the country. They are optimistic. They say the American dream is alive. I will do better than my parents. My children will do better than I. What is fueling their optimism?
I think it's really just a greater access and a greater freedom to express themselves and to create a life which just wants to fulfill, the things that they can clearly see their past generations and their parents not having an opportunity to express themselves. It's a greater access to education. It's a greater access to just the simple idea that you can have a dream.
Wow, so access is key. All right, let's tick through some of the pictures here, right? You introduced us in this series to Regina, the owner of a beauty salon. She talked about her version of the American dream being her ability to afford education for her kids. Did she tell you more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And and what we're seeing here is pictures of her grandkids, some of the many she has, who are now standing in front of the school that she lives right across the street from. She was able to help send her kids to college, and one of which got a PhD. Because she had a great job, that was all possible, and it was certainly something that she is looking back on and being very proud of.
Let's look at Breonna Carter. She's an employee at a Dairy Queen. You see her right there. She's there temporarily, saving up to go to community college. She wants to become an entrepreneur. There is this debate about wages in fast food, the fight for 15 right now, and so many, the numbers bear out that so many fast food workers today are actually older and they can't seem to get out of those positions and move up. What makes her so optimistic that she can earn enough and then become an entrepreneur?
I think for her, she sees it purely as a ladder. She went from one fast food operation to another, which gave her more pay and better benefits, and she's seeing it as a shortcut to college and to starting her own business.
Bobby Wood is another person you photographed who says that something is going to come, something I think is going to come as a surprise to many viewers, that he finds it easier to find a good paying job today. In fact, he hopes to buy a house in the near future. And even though, of course, getting a mortgage is a scary proposition for anyone, what is it about him?
I think for him, really it comes down to the freedom, and this is something that happened over and over again, is people finding freedoms to own their own time and their own hours and their own businesses. And Bobby, as a truck driver, has so much more control over where he's moving. And I think that has really empowered him to believe that he can have everything he wants in this life. And you see it happening. And he's a relatively young man, and he's doing great.
So you highlighted, John, the stories of hope and the stories of optimism, and these beautiful pictures that I would push everyone to go to cnnmoney.com/American Opportunity to look at. I know you also must have heard stories of frustration and despair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these people or any of us really don't have things that have been obstacles in our own paths. What was so rewarding to me, and I hope to the audience who's seeing these pictures, is that the way that these people have reframed that as being a part of this greater goal and dream for themselves. Everything can be hard, and looking here at Ray in Oregon, who has had some health problems, and that was a refrain of what we were doing and what we were seeing. But instead of wanting to blame anyone for what's happened in his life, he's excited about the opportunity to maybe go back to school and to find a new way to express himself and to make a living.
Pretty encouraging stories. Again, just go to cnnmoney.com/American Opportunity. You can see all of John's work right there. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.